world feels crazy right now. There's a lot of political disagreement, a lot of violence, and a lot of ideologies that are clashing right now. And I feel compelled to share a message with you about that because I see so much pain when I go onto social media to manage my business accounts. I see a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of anguish, and a lot of grief. And none of those things are right or wrong. I even see people saying, if your business doesn't agree with X, I can't do business with you, and vice versa. And that's all perfectly fine and okay because that's your perspective and that is your free will. And that is something that we all came here with. But there's something so much bigger that is happening here. And it is my heart and my soul's desire that people begin to realize this. People will hear it and they'll go, oh, yeah, absolutely. They acknowledge it. But then they go right back into the noise, as my shaman calls it, that they were experiencing moments before. I do not watch news. I do not watch news. Sometimes I will see things on social media. If I choose to go deeper, I go look for written sources. And if I'm going to watch any video, I do not watch clips. I watch things in their entirety to understand the context in which something was said. But very rarely do I do those deep dives anymore. At most, I find it just really interesting and curious the way that stories get propagated, whether it's news or firsthand, secondhand, third-hand reports that are out there. And especially right now with AI, it's almost impossible when someone is really good at AI to tell something that is real from something that is absolutely fake. Our job when we come here as humans, our job, if you want to call it that, our purpose, one is to experience this life. But the other is to remember that we were created from compassion, love, and kindness. And part of this journey is to find our way back to compassion, love, and kindness. And I know that message is probably really hard to hear, and you're probably saying, fuck you right now, and throwing me the middle finger if you're immersed in this political world. And I get it. I used to be there. But that compassion, love, and kindness doesn't necessarily mean that you're okay with bad things. What I mean is that when we live our life from a place of compassion, love, and kindness, we have compassion for not understanding what someone's been through. We recognize that, unless someone has been through really, crazy circumstances in their life, that most people want to be loved and accepted unless something has happened that has broken them to the point that that's not the case. And are there some people born without empathy? Yes, but a lot of times people mistake people uh, who are just so shut down from their own life's experiences and they walled off their feelings. They misconstrue that as a lack of empathy, and that's simply having a wall. And what creates a wall is fear and anger. I apprentice with a shaman. I grew up not going to church. And then when I was around 10 years old, ended up going to the Baptist church. And decades before I even knew what the word Gnostic meant, I had a more Gnostic view of religion, spirituality. I pretty much view all religions in the sense of denominations. I view that as dogma. I view that as man made. At the heart of almost every single faith and philosophy that is out there is to be someone who is to learn to be someone who is non-judgmental, to be someone who has faith, which means we aren't in fear, to be someone who has compassion and kindness in their heart for others, even those who believe in something that is so very different from our own. And what we're engaged in right now is spiritual warfare. And spiritual warfare means something different to different people. But for me, spiritual warfare refers to things that are beyond our normal perception and comprehension, fighting for control of humanity's essence, humanity's energy. It's not about Allah or God or Buddha. I went to visit the monks on the Walk for Peace. I'll talk about that in a moment because it's relevant here. We're in this fight. And when we experience fear, when we experience anger, those things wall us off from who we really are. Now, let's just back up a moment here. I am an expert in emotions. I'm an expert in emotional intelligence, emotional resilience. And this is what I work with clients on all the time. Emotions are a compass. So, anger, we feel that when something feels unfair. But what we're experiencing in the collective right now is the attempt to generate anger for things that are not directly affecting us. And you might be spitting nails at me right now going, but these things that are happening to these other people, they're unfair. Someone has to stand up for them. Yes, I get that. The thing is when you recognize you have that anger, instead of stewing in it and getting frustrated with it, ask yourself, how can I transmute this anger by doing something that is helpful? That's how you transmute that anger. You don't want to stay in that anger. You want to use that anger to change things. Maybe, perhaps that means donating to an organization. Maybe that means writing a letter to your local political leaders, calling your local politicians. If that is something that is important to you, do it, but don't hold on to it. Don't simmer on it. And whatever you do it from the place of compassion of the people that you want to help, not lashing out at the people that are doing whatever you disagree with, because the Bible says, and there are other texts as well that say this, our word creates. We live and die by the tongue. We are hung by the tongue. Jesus said, ask and it is given. Speak it and it happens. Period. End of discussion. Speak it and it happens. So when we speak words of violence and we perpetuate hate and wanting to do unkind things to other people, what do? We create more of that. We create more of that. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire in the world. And several years ago, I had someone who has been in my world. She's been to my master classes. And I've gone into one of her groups in the past when she led groups and did hypnosis there. And it was when the war in Ukraine broke out. And I did a Facebook post around not putting your attention on the fear. Because when we focus our attention on fear, we manifest, we create more circumstances in the world that give us the opportunity to be fearful. And the same thing goes with anger. And this person came, and she's very kind and I love her. Her family was in Ukraine. Her brother ended up dying in Ukraine. And she commented on my social media post. She said, "So are you saying that we wanted to manifest the war in Ukraine?" And I'm paraphrasing, those weren't her exact words, but that was the gist of her post. I said, "No, I'm saying when we focus on fear, we manifest the opportunity for the collective consciousness to generate more fear, to generate more anger. When we focus our attention on violence, we are creating the opportunity for violent ideas to co-create and expand and come to fruition in our world." And people say, well, something has to be done. Yes, find a way to do it with love, compassion, and kindness. And I'm not saying you have to agree with anybody. You know, to what some people are here, let me just back up for a moment. Some people are here to work with humanity from the level of what I call the earth warrior, where you're leading movements, you're maybe starting organizations, you're donating, you're on the ground, you're actually doing things. My place is different. My role in my life at this time is to be a spiritual warrior, and it's to help people to crack and see through the manipulation that is happening, that is keeping you in fear and anger. Because the more we go into love, compassion, and kindness, the more love, compassion, and kindness there is in the world. There have been multiple studies that have been done at different universities. I believe it was Princeton, I might be wrong, that they took a group of meditators. They took these meditators and they sent them into the Middle East. And wherever they went, when they were in this state of peace, where they were meditating and they had this vibration of peace and sending love with the intention of peace, the violence decreased. I believe it's in the Washington area, or maybe it's Maryland. They were tracking, every city does this, they track their crime rate, car accidents, muggings, beatings, shootings, whatever the case may be. And they would get together a group of meditators. And when this group would come together and meditate, those numbers went down, because our energy is connected to the collective energy. And the people who would see humanity locked into fear and anger, they feed off of that energy, they feed off of that control. Fear and anger is how you are controlled. Fear and anger is how you are manipulated. Now, I went to see the venerable monks when they were in Forest, Mississippi. And they were sharing the same message that I share with my clients. Be present. Learn to be present. Put your phone down. Even if you put it down for just 2 minutes, and they use the example of when you go to the bathroom, if you'll just go to the bathroom without your phone and just be present with yourself. When you go to the bathroom, wash your hands, brush your teeth, come out, whatever, you will begin to change your life. And to just be present and to feel love and to just send love to people. And someone in the crowd asked, how do we do that? How do we do that? And it is as simple as putting your attention on what you're doing. Right now, my attention is on my message to you. My attention is on my words to you. I'm not thinking about what I did yesterday. I'm not thinking about what you think about what I say. I'm not worried if I'm going to get canceled tomorrow, because this message cannot be canceled. This message cannot be canceled. So we learn to be present. And the monk shared how the purpose of walking to Washington, D.C. is to bring attention to people, to be present. and to feel love in their hearts. That's all they wanted. And that's exactly what Jesus talked about in the Bible. Be present. Don't fear not. Fear not. Be present. Be present. Love, compassion, non-judgmental attitude. But you saw Christians attacking these monks, calling them Satanists and all kinds of horrific things. That's because they've been indoctrinated with a human message of fear of someone that's different from them. Those are human messages. Those are not messages from our soul. Our soul doesn't tell us to dislike people or to not love people because they're different from us, or because they do something different from us, or they like something different, or they believe in a different political party. There's no right or wrong. There's only what's in a person's heart, and the only person who knows what's in a person's heart is them. Yet we judge people. When I say we, I mean humanity. We judge what's in a person's heart all the time. It's time to stop judging what's in a person's heart. I want you to look inward to your heart. What do you want for yourself? If you have children, what do you want for your children? What do you want for your grandchildren? I guarantee you it's something positive. I guarantee you want them to know a world that is kind to them. You want them to know love. You want them to feel good about themselves. Go out and wish that for everyone. If you can wish happiness, love, peace, compassion, and kindness for people that in this moment right now you're telling yourself that you hate, your life will change. Not only will your life change, we will change the entire world. We will change the entire world when we can move into a place where we wish love, compassion, happiness, and kindness for someone that we disagree with. Because when we experience that, our attitude towards life changes. The way that we allow the things around us to impact us changes, which means we respond differently in our world. We as humanity become better people. You won't see me often post about politics or anything of that nature on social media unless I'm making a post that goes to be aware the news and the algorithms are programming you. They are designed to program for fear and control. There are a very small handful of people that have been attempting to control the global economy for decades. And people think governments, they think Trump, it's Biden, it's Obama, it's the Bushes, it's this, it's that. I'm going to be sassy here. Those people are farting a Texas tornado compared to what these people do. You think your government is the boogeyman. Your government isn't the one that's wanting to control, though they can be extensions of those who do want to control. So while they've got you all stirred up like red and black ants in a jar, I don't know if you've heard that. If you were to put red ants and black ants together, they would get along just fine. But if you put them together in that jar and then you shook that jar, they would kill each other. They're oblivious to each other until you shake that jar. And globally, that's what's happening. It's a shaking of the jar. And short form social media, viral news clips taken completely out of context, and people's opinions are shaking your jar. They are shaking your jar. If you're still listening to this, then you're probably not one of the people that I'm talking to. You probably already got pissed and logged off. If you're one of the people that they're shaking the jar. But when you realize you are being manipulated, your fear, your anger, it drives a lot of things in society. Drives a lot of things in society. The number one being division. And through division, you don't have any control. I often don't mention those things. I do have opinions, but there's no space in the work that I do for others for me to judge people based on what they believe and what they do. I have sat across the computer screen with people who really knew nothing about me, and they talk about how they hate certain groups of people and they believe that certain groups of people are hateful, um, ignorant, different kinds of things. And I'm not talking political party, I'm talking about just ways of living. And I would just sit there and understand, because I am a hypnotist, understand they've been programmed with this message. They're sitting in front of me and they love me. They're telling me, but yet they will talk about this one topic and say that if someone agrees with this one thing or they participate or do this one thing over here, that it makes them evil. And I just sit there and I do my best to help them achieve the outcome that they want. Because my only purpose in life at this point is to help people to recognize the true essence of themselves, to love themselves, to feel compassion and kindness and acceptance for themselves. Because when they do that, it doesn't just change them, it changes their entire world for the better. I've had clients who have had to work through things that most people would just be appalled at. What I see is someone who wants to be better. I see someone who wants to be better. I see someone who wants to be loved. I see someone who wants to be free of shame and guilt. I see someone who's empathetic, but had so much trauma in their life that they didn't know how else to take care of themselves. But they were learning a better way. They had learned a better way. But now it was time to move into a place of acceptance, to acknowledge, yes, yes, I did those things. Yes, I did that thing. Yes, I regret that. I shouldn't have done that. But now I need to be able to let myself move on so I can do something that matters. And at the end of the day, if you get nothing else out of this, if you stuck around this long, love yourself, have acceptance for yourself, all of you, the part of you that's made mistakes, the part of you that's gotten it right. And don't let someone outside of you rob you of your peace. That's it. Have a blessed day. And I wish for you all the love, kindness, and compassion.